Good evening, all. So, as already informed, today's session we will be dealing about introduction to Shalyatantra, Yantras, and Shastras in detail. So, beginning with introduction to Shalyatantra, first we have to see what Shalya means. Okay, the Nirukti and its definition. So, about the Nirukti, it is told Shalashwal Ashugamane Dhatu Tayoradyasya Shalyamiti Rupam. So, the word Shalya is being derived from Shal and Shwal Dhatu. Okay. And the Shal and Shwal Dhatu have got the meaning Ashugamana, that is, which is moving quickly. Okay. And also the word Shal have another meaning like Himsaya or Rujaya, that means which is causing pain or injury. So from Tayoradyasya Shalyamiti, that means from the Shal Dhatu, this Shalya word have been originated. So Shalya word is derived from Shal or Shwal Dhatu, which is having meanings like Himsaya or Rujaya, which causes pain or injury, as well as which is moving quickly, Ashu Gamana. Next is the definition of Shalya. You have already got the notes, I think. So in that detailed description is given. Now I will be moving with the shlokas. So it is told tatra mana sharira abada garani shalyani, that is which is causing abada or bada, injury or discomfort or any kind of pain to the body as well as the mind. Such a substance or any uh, anything which cause difficulty to the body and mind is called shalya. Same thing is told in the next sloka also. Sarva sharira abadakaram shalyam. Yat kinchit abadakaram sharire tat sarvameva prabatanti shalyam. So all these quotations have the same meaning, that is which cause pain or injury or any discomfort to the body as well as the mind. Such a thing is termed as shalya. And next is adi pravrutham mala doshaja. So we know the dosha, dhatu, mala, everything is something which is normal to the body. But when this mala or dosha or dhatu, when it is in a stage of adipravritha, that is in a vritti stage, that can also act as shalya. Okay, that is mentioned here under the definition heading. Next is the types. So based on the uh, cause of injury, it is divided into two. Tadvividham, Shariram, Agandukam cha. First one is Sharira, next one is Aganduka Shalya. So in Sharira Shalya, which all things will include? Danta Roma Nakhadi Dhatavo Annamala Doshashtra Dushta. That is, Sharirika Shalya includes substances like Danta, Roma, Nakha, and as already told, Adipravritam Mala Dosha. That is the dosha, dhatu, and mala, which is in a vitiated state or which is in a vritti stage. All those comes under Sharira Shalya. Teeth, nails, hair, body hair or head hair, both means all those can include under Sharira. In addition to that, the Dhatu, Mala and Dosha, which is in a Dushtavastha. These can be considered under Sharira Shalya. Next is Agantu. Agantu, it is told Sharira Shalya Vitiregena Yavando Bhava Dukkham Utpadayanti. That is, apart from the Sharira Shalya, which all things can produce dukkha to the body or mind, that can be included under Agandu Shalya types. So this is the first classification based on what cause injury, Shariraja and Manasika. Then based on structure which is penetrated, another classification is there, that is according to the Shalya's structure. If the Shalya is having an projection or a ear-like structure attached to its front portion, then it is considered as Karni. And if it is a smooth structure, then it comes under Shlekshna type. So based on the structure which is penetrated, it is divided into Karni and Shlekshna. That is the second classification. So first it was classified into Sharira and Agantu, then it is classified into Karni and Shlekshna. And third classification is based on the depth of penetration. That is how deep the Shalya goes. On the basis of that, it is divided into Avabadha Shalya and Anavabadha Shalya. Avabadha Shalya means which have gone deeper. that is up to the level of Asti Pravishta. Such Shalya is considered as Avabadha Shalya, and others, all the other Shalyas on the basis of penetration or on the basis of the depth, other Shalyas other than the Asti Pravishta Shalya, others are classified under Anavabadha Shalya. So, on the basis of structure, on the basis of the depth of penetration, and on the basis of what cause injury, there are three classifications. First was Sharira and Agantu, next was Karni and Shlakshna, and third Avabadha and Anavabadha. So this is about Shalya. So we have seen the Nirukti, then the Paribhasha and the Bheda. About Shalya we have seen. Now we have to see about the Shalya Tantra. Before talking about the definition and all, first we have to go with the history. That is according to the history, or according to the Ayurveda Idihasa, which you have already dealt in the first year, you know that is there is means Ayurveda is divided into two schools, Atreya Sampradaya and Dhanvantari Sampradaya. One is dealing with the medicine part, next is the surgery part, and next is about the Avatarana. This is also familiar to you, which is already dealt in the first years. Brahma, from Brahma means Brahma Smrutva. Brahma, Lord Brahma have memorized the Ayurveda, and then it is passed on to Daksha Prajapati, then to Ashwini Kumara, Sindra, then finally Kashi Raja Divodasa Dhanvantari. From there, the Dhanvantari Sampradaya begins. That is Shalya Tantra. And from Kashiraja Divodasa Dhanvantari, it was passed on to the Sushruta and his contemporaries like Avodenava, Aurabha, Paushkalavata, Karavira, Vaitarana, Bhoja, and Gopurakshita. So this is the Shalya Tantra Avatarana. And next is why Shalya Tantra was brought to earth. So we know this is the Avatarana, how it was passed on to Sushruta and why it was brought to earth. It is told after seeing the Sharira Manasa Agandubhir Vyadhibhir Vividha Vedana Abhigada Ubadrutan. That is, different kinds of diseases were occurring in the earth. Sharirika, Manasika, and Agantu diseases were occurring. Seeing that, then Vividha Vedana Abhigada Ubadrutan. That is, the people were suffering from different kinds of pains and injuries, Vedana and Abhigada. And because of that, seeing that, one that was the other reason. Then Sadadhanapi Anadhavat Vicheshtamana. That is, even though they were having friends and families, but still they were roaming like anadhas, that is orphans. Then Vikroshadascha, that is people were crying. Due to all these reasons, the Shalya Tantra was brought to earth. Seeing these sufferings of the people grouped together and they went to the then means concerned disciples, and further Shalya Tantra was brought to earth. And also it is told it was to get happiness, Sukheshana. Then Roga Upashamanartham, that is to find a solution for all these rogas. Then Pranayatrartham, that is to get a peaceful living as well as a peaceful death. Then Prajahita Hedor, finally it was for the benefit of the human progeny. For all these reasons, Ayurveda as well as the Shalya Tantra was brought to earth. Seeing all these sufferings, the decision was made to make a solution for this, and they approached the gods. Okay. Then now it is the definition of Shalya Tantra. So you know Shalya Tantra definition, it is already dealt in the previous years, but it is very important that you have to by heart the shloka. You have to know the definition of each ashtangas, it is very important. And about Shalya, it is told Tatra Shalyam Nama Vividhatrana Kashta Pashana Pamshu Loha Loshta Asti Balanaka Puya Srava Dushta Vrana Antar Garbha Shalya Udharanartham Yantra Shastra Ksharakni Pradindana Vrana Vinishchayartham Cha. The English translations for the each word have been already given in the note, so I will not go in detail about that English terms. So when the Shalya Tantra definition we take, it can be divided into three parts. That is, first thing is Vividhatrana Kashta Pashana Vamsha etc. Shalya Udharanartham. That is, first thing we have to diagnose and the removal of certain foreign bodies like Trina, Kashta, Pashana, Dushtavrana, Andargarbha, etc. So, Shalyatantra is a branch of Ayurveda which deals with the diagnosis as well as the removal of these kind of foreign bodies. Second part is Yantra Shastra Kshara Agni Pranidhana. That is, Yantra Shastra Kshara Agni etc. are unique to Ayurveda, means Shalyatantra. So, the usage of these Yantra, Shastra, Kshara, and Agni. This is told in this branch of or this Shalyatantra branch. Okay. Third one is Vrana Vinishchayartha. Vrana Vinishchayartha means detailed explanation of Vrana is explained in Shalyatantra along with its treatment. Different modalities of treatment is told in Shalyatantra part. So, Shalyatantra is a branch of Ayurveda which deals with all these three. First thing is diagnosis and removal of certain foreign bodies. Next is the utility of Yandra, Shastra, Kshara, and Agni Karma. Then detailed explanation on Vrana and its treatment. This is what is told in Shalya Tantra. Next, another definition is Sarva Sharira Abadagaram Shalyam Sadiha Upadishyade Ityadaha Shalya Tantra. That is the Tantra or the science which deals with the foreign bodies, Shalya. Okay, that also is termed as Shalya Tantra. Then again, Shalyamiti, Shalya Aharana, Pradhanam, Tantram, Shalya Tantra. So, in the definition you have seen, the word used is Shalya. Tatra Shalyam Nama. So, that explanation is given here, Shalyamiti. That Shalya term in the definition means Shalya Aharana, Pradhanam, Tantram. The science which deals with the Shalya Aharana, removal of the foreign bodies. That is called Shalya Tantra. So, these are the definition of Shalya Tantra. And next is the importance of Shalya Tantra. So it is told in two ways. Why it is it is having an importance in the historic. Next is why it is important among the Ashtangas. So in two ways the importance of Shalya Tantra is explained. And first is the historical background. It is told Edat Yangam Pradhama. Pradhamam here that Pradhama indicates the importance only. Prak Abhigada Vrana Samrohat Yajna Shira Sandhanacha. That is, you have already learned about the Ayurveda Itihasa. In that, it is told about, we know there were lot of battles happening in the early times between the Damans and Deities and all those battles, which was very frequent. So, Prak Abhigada Vrana Samrohat means Abhigada Vrana, those Vranas, those accidental wounds which were occurring during the battles. So, this Shalyatantra was the remedy, or the Shalyatantra branch helped in curing those accidental wounds. For the healing of those wounds, this Shalyatantra branch was helpful. Even before the occurrence of systemic illness, this Abhigada Vrana was more during the historical time. So because of that healing of accidental wounds in the early times, this branch was considered as important. Next one was Yajna Sira Sandhanacha. So in the history, it is told about the Lord Rudra have severed the head of Yajna during a yaga. All those story you might be knowing. And during that time, Ashwini Kumaras were approached and they have helped to replace the Yajna Shira with that of the god's head. So it is a surgery, right? The replacement of that Shiras is not a medicinal part, it is a surgical intervention. So it was under that Shalyatantra branch. So because of these two reasons, it is having an importance with a historical background. First was the Prak Abhigada Vrana Samroha, healing of those Abhigada Vranas, and second was the replacement of Yajna Shira with that of God's head. Next is why it is important among the Ashtangas. So it is told, certain points are told, like first one is Ashukriya Karanat. It can be taken in two ways. That is, the doctor is very quick in surgery. That is the use of yantradi, all those things will be in a fast manner. Or else using the Shastra Sadhyavya, means when we consider the treatment like Shastra Sadhyas, what happens? It will be having a higher rate of cure than compared to medicines. So maybe because of that, it is told Ashukriya Karana as one reason why Shalya Tantra is considered important. Next is Yantra Shastra Kshara Agni Pranidhana. Of course, as told, Yantra Shastra Kshara and Agni are unique to Shalyatantra and its usages, which is something exclusive. Okay, so because of the utility of those Yantra, Shastra, Kshara, and Agni, it is considered important. Next is Sarvatantra Samanya. That is, this particular branch is utilized in other branches also. Like in Shalakya, many of the instruments procedures are used. So it is told in it is utilized in another branch. Then Kaumara Bhritya, Agada Tandra, Shastrapada, etc. is explained in Agada. Then in Bhuda Vidya also needle puncture is told. Kaya Chikitsa also in certain diseases it is told that we have to approach the Dhanvantari Adhikara. Okay, so like that it is utilized in many other branches also. So because of these reasons it is considered important in among the Ashtangas. Next is the benefits of Shalyatantra. That is, what is the benefit if this Shalyatantra is learnt or practiced or teached? Okay. So it is told Tadidam Shashvatam Punyam Swargyam Yashasyam Ayushyam Vrittigaram Cheti. That is, Shalyatantra is Shashwata, eternal, virtuous, heavenly, and it increases the longevity, it maintains the health, and it helps in the curage of many diseases. So these are the benefits of Shalyatantra, and the one who preaches Shalyatantra will be considered uh, with means a person having all these benefits. So that is the benefits of Shalyatantra. Now we have to see what happened to the progress of Shalyatantra. Apart all these explanations, all these specialities, the progress was not that much. There was a decline in the progress of Shalyatantra. So what were the reasons for that? So first one, it is told that absence of adequate anesthesia. So there is mentioning of use of madhya and all during the during performing surgery because to reduce the pain. But as the time went on, the sattva of the patients itself was reduced, and enough anesthetic drugs were not available in the science. No further developments were done. Because of that, it was considered as a means chance to demoralize the practitioners. Okay. Next is the lack of knowledge in dissection. So in Sushruta Samhita, there is much emphasis on the dissection of dead body. That is to gain good knowledge of surgical anatomy. But after the period of Sushruta, that is Sushruta Samhita, there was no much explanation in any text regarding this dissection procedure. So this led to the lack of confidence in students itself because the anatomy should be very thorough and that part was little weak. So that also became a cause for the decline. Next is the foreign invasion to India. So different invasions were happening, and because of that, our freedom was lost as well as there was cultural and intellectual heritage was lost during that period. So what happened? The manuscripts, everything were lost during the invasions, as well as they promoted other systems of medicine. By that, the support to Ayurveda itself went reduced. That was the third reason. And next, the spread of Buddhism and Jainism. So, the spread of Buddhism and Jainism was considered as a biggest cause for the downfall of surgery because surgery was considered, means it was considered as something which is causing pain to the body. So, they were uh, a group of people who were against this himsa and all. So they considered it as an asuri chikitsa. So it was surgery was causing pain to the patient. So they considered it as a asuri chikitsa and they made more importance to kaya chikitsa by which Shalyatantra the branch had a decline. Next is unavailability of samhita. That is all those works which are related to surgery that went unavailable. And even though if some samhitas were available, that was not complete. So there was a unavailability of the proper knowledge. So that also became a reason. Next is lack of royal patronage. Lack of royal patronage means that is for any science to grow, there is a need of certain support from the higher authorities. So that was lacking in case of those times. That is lack of royal patronage. Next is maintenance of secrecy. That is the physicians or those who are practicing this Shalyatantra, they maintained a confidentiality while procuring the drug as well as preparing medicines. All those processes, they maintained a secrecy. The knowledge was not passed on to others. It was passed on to certain group of people alone. So by because of that, what happened, the knowledge was lost with that particular people. It was not passed on to the society. That is maintenance of secrecy. Next is communication gap. Communi- Next is orthodox belief. Orthodox beliefs means it was like a certain community was only allowed to practice. So because of that, everyone didn't get a chance. Only it was limited to a certain group of people. Next is communication gap. Communication gap means a number of description of major surgeries were mentioned in Sushruta Samhita, but it was not practiced later. Maybe because of that communication gap, means the knowledge was not properly transferred, or the next generation or the further Ayurvedic surgeons were not able to practice those operations in that manner which is told in the Samhitas. So there was a communication gap. Then the 10th one is failure of coordination with the allied sciences. That is, it is already told that we have to merge with other sciences for the development. But that was not happening with this Shalyatantra. Because all the other sciences like carpentry, metallurgy, all those were physics, everything have developed to a great extent. But our science was held back. So these are the 10 reasons considered for the decline of Shalyatantra. Next is the steps taken to uplift Shalyatantra. So that is first thing is gaining royal patronage. As told earlier, any science to develop, there should be a support in terms of financial or other means. There should be a support from the higher authorities so that further researches, further projects can be done. So first thing is to gain royal patronage or government support. Next is yoga. That is Acharya Sushruta have detailed yoga. That is practical training. Its importance in a chapter, entire chapter. That is, he considered that after gaining theoretical knowledge, it is very important to gain the practical skill. So that should be practiced. Olden days, there was mentioning of use of certain vegetables, fruits, everything. So in spite of that, now it is like you can get simulators, mannequins, etc. So using that, the practical skill should be improved. Third is use of anesthetics. That is with proper researchers, means use of that anesthetic drugs should be made available, and with the use of anesthetic, surgery will also improve. Fourth one is the standardization. So for everything, for Kshara Agni, if there is a standardized protocol, then it will be useful to advocate in any kind of diseases. So standardization should be made to Yantra Shastra. That is, if there is any modification needed to the already explained things, that should be done, and it should be made in a standard form. Then it is Marma. So Marma is something unique to Ayurveda, and detailed explanation is given in Sushruta Samhita. So that knowledge should be made appropriate and its utility should be done. Next is study of Samhita. So whatever it is told in Samhita, that is not appropriately means known to everyone. So whoever is well known about the Samhita, they should teach or they should preach the Samhita so that the knowledge of Samhita is available to all those who are practicing Shalya. Next is about the treating of Asadi and Krishnasadi Rogas. That is, in many diseases, when it is taken the modern treatment, there is chance of recurrence and all. And we can try the treatments told in Samhitas, which will find a proper cure for the condition. So, such diseases can be taken up for treatment. Next is usage of Prana Shodhana and Ropana Aushadha. When we take